folks. Preseason week 2 is in the fucking books. We're on like what, the fourth episode? Yeah, fourth episode. I see it. Fourth episode. Yep, fourth episode of Unsolicited Fantasy Advice. So we have a full panel. How y'all doing today? How's everybody feeling?
Doing good. Just being respectful, not calling people terrible people for no reason. Having a good day.
Oh, okay. PJ, how you doing? Where are you at? You
I'm in Tucson, Arizona. Lovely, beautiful day out here. And I'm ready to shit on somebody's team today.
Why the fuck are you in Tucson?
It's called Perks of Having a Job That Loves You.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about...
Yeah, I don't know anything about that now.
Damn, that sounded so sad, guys.
I know, right?
Friends.
Everyone hates me. I mean, Monkey showed me last night. Monkey showed me he loved me. By the way, I might as well just Zell you since I forgot that cash.
Sorry.
You know, it makes sense though, because I mean, I hire great people. I have a great team with me. They love working for me. We treat them well. I'd never hire a Dolphins fan, so I can see why you guys are in that position.
On another note, how was Raw, guys?
I don't understand why we're fucking loyal no matter how bad the system is.
Yeah, but you don't know how to win.
What the fuck do you mean? We're not set up to win.
Well, if you're on my team, we have to win.
Oh, hold on, Monkey. What does that mean? We're not set up to win?
Because you guys let Brian Flores go. That's your fault.
I
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. Jesus. I know we all want to crack at this. Brendan.
Yeah.
Before we get to the number one hotly debated topic in all of NFL world today, let's get to Adam Schefter's Twitter.
It's not much going on, guys. It's preseason week 2, baby. Everyone's the best in the NFL if you listen to sports radio. After watching a preseason game, everyone's really excited after watching whatever their favorite player is practice against insurance salesmen.
Well, not if you're a Russell Wilson fan. He was
there's one thing I learned about preseason. You don't know if the team's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like
I could tell you right now, Russell Wilson's going to be bad. He's getting buried by third-tier defenses.
You say that now. The Steelers are notorious for this, dude. They come out the gates shitty, and then all of a sudden they're in the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be in the playoffs if they put Fields in. I guarantee you that.
There's no way Fields is better than fucking Russell Wilson. No way. I'll put money on.
I 100% think he gives them a better shot.
On another topic, I do want to ask, how was Raw, guys? How was that?
Fucking awesome. Fucking amazing. Look, check it out.
I know we'll save that for Thursday, but I just wanted to know because I didn't get to go. Sad face.
It's okay. There was a Bills fan there in the front row that had a sign trolling the Dolphins, so in their own house. So good for them.
That's insane. That's insane, dude. In Miami, a Bills fan doing that?
Bro, listen, I'm so pissed at that. When I saw the replays of Raw, there was front and center in the fucking camera a sign, a big old sign that said JA17 owns Miami. And when I tell you whatever degenerate cunt fuck that moved here 6 months ago slithered out of fucking New York to go to this Raw to do this shit to us should be fucking dragged out into his streets, and I'm not going to say the rest because I like being on YouTube. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't have been allowed.
Okay, well, can you explain this to me? Because I watch Raw from home because I don't live in Florida. And would you like to explain to me why there was more people in Colts jerseys than Dolphins jerseys at Raw?
Fuck you. I don't know, bro.
The fuck was that?
I don't know. First off, we were in, like, the Panthers arena, and I saw, like, one Panther jersey.
Yeah, CM Punk cuts a promo and like shouts out the Panthers, and half the crowd's like, "Who the fuck are the Panthers?"
Yo, that's insane, dude. I saw that.
No,
I literally
bullshit.
saw that.
No. I am not letting this slide. I am not letting this slide. No, you're not gonna sit here on the internet and lie to people, to the
Okay,
poor people.
tell me how a random UFC fighter gets a bigger pop than Roberto Luongo
That's
when they
bullshit. We had a Florida Panther chant going on when CM Punk was talking.
Yeah,
audible?
all 50 of you had a chant going. It was nice.
All 5 of us. What are you talking about? It was great. Was it not audible? I heard it.
Did not sound loud.
Cody, were they not chanting "Let's go Panthers"? God damn it, Cody.
Yeah, he's gone. You're here alone, buddy. I'm sorry.
If my kid was here right now. Anyway, whatever. You know what? Don't believe these heathens. They were chanting "Let's go Panthers" last night.
Yeah, and then they show Roberto Luongo on the big screen, and no one even knows who the fuck he is because everyone who's a Panthers fan is a bandwagon who started watching this year.
They did a close up on his jersey before. Like they even gave him a cheat code.
Yeah, and they gave him a golf clap. They're like, "Oh, we don't know who that is, but thank you."
I feel like that's. We're just trying to hear. We were waiting for Jey Uso, man.
I guess.
My kid was super upset Jey Uso didn't come out. Like that shit ruined his whole night.
Poor kid.
All right, let's get back to football. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so sorry, my internet shit out when you're asking me about the news. Here's the news. Nothing happened. Nothing.
Awesome.
Nothing I give a fuck to talk about.
I could probably corroborate that too. Like I didn't see anything important happen. I think that's why this next topic is so blown up the way it is. Yeah.
Unless you guys want to talk about Brandon Ayuk for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. The only.
Is that finalized or no?
No.
Adam Schefter's saying that it might be this week, but he said that last week and he said that the week before. So you know.
Well, know what's crazy about the situation? No one's talking about how like.
Him and CeeDee Lamb.
Well, Trent Brown's holding out too, or not Trent Brown, Trent Williams, the best left tackle in football.
So is Jamar Chase is holding out too.
And no one on the 49ers is talking about that. Like I would much rather get Trent taken care of.
Wait. Let's not bullshit. Let's not pretend we're not a fantasy football show. These are people that are important. We gotta talk about the names.
Well, that's the thing. Like I don't understand what's all the news about fucking Ayuk. I don't even put him as a top 10 receiver. Like
so. The names that we're about to discuss here for the next, I guess, 10 minutes while we discuss this topic. I want you to know fantasy football players that are about to draft. These are the names to stay the fuck away from for the most part. Like, when I mean stay away from, I don't mean just don't fucking draft them because that would be idiotic. You'd be just giving a free player away. But these are not people that you draft with your first pick. These are not people you stretch for. Just consider a better player, or consider what we're about to talk about. Okay,
besides Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, totally draft them in the first round.
Let's talk. Well,
that's crazy. I'm in fucking Arizona and I can't escape lightning. That's insane. Sorry, keep going.
Even Jamar Chase, like we don't know if he's gonna be holding out for week 1 and 2. Like maybe not. I don't think he will, but yeah, let's discuss some of these holdouts and things because they are fantasy relevant. Ayuk is fantasy relevant. CeeDee Lamb's fantasy relevant. With the Ayuk situation, I think that they're confident that they're gonna have something this week.
Yeah, they've said that for 6 months now. So
if you're going into drafts this weekend and you don't know this answer, that is the one guy I'm not drafting because I don't know what the fuck team he's going to be on. I don't know if he's staying with you legitimately don't know. You don't know if he's going to stay on San Francisco. You don't know if he's going to be moved out. You don't know who he's talking to anymore. His options are getting limited. Like this could turn into a fucking mess quickly. You don't want to waste a pick on a guy you don't even know where he's going to land. Because Stephon Diggs is a perfect example of this. When he was with Josh Allen, his fucking draft position was like right next to Tyreek Hill. Now he's with Houston. He's not even a clear-cut wide receiver one. He's already having problems with C.J. Stroud. You know, like his draft position is much lower this year because of it. So like, if Ayuk goes somewhere crazy, like fucking, I don't know who needs like a receiver, like Sam Darnold's team or some shit. Like he goes into a situation with a bad quarterback or a bad situation, his draft stock's probably going to plummet. So I wouldn't stretch for a guy like that.
I'm totally fine with like if Jamar Chase holds out for 2 weeks, and I draft him with my first pick. I'm totally fine with that because I know he's going to be with the Bengals.
It depends on where I am because I might get the same value for Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, I might get the same value with oh my fucking god, I'm drawing blanks right now. Well, I know I'll get better value with Tyreek Hill. That's kind of like not a question. That's the other guy, AJ Brown, Philly, AJ Brown.
I'm not taking AJ Brown in the first round. That's crazy.
Still, like if Chase is holding out, he might be in the same conversation as AJ Brown in the second round. Like it's
I'm in an elevator, all right.
I want to have that answered before we going into fantasy drafts. Granted, like I might not, so like it's things to consider. It might be one of those decisions like, oh fuck, do I pick this guy or do I pick Amon-Ra? Do I pick this guy? Do I pick Justin Jefferson? Do I pick this guy? Do I pick CD? Fuck, what if you're missing 2 weeks? Like the things are important. CD Lamb is even a bigger worry because Jamar Chase, you kind of have a little bit of confidence that Joe Burrow's on that fucking team. The situation in Dallas, I don't think Dak Prescott's going to be like, hey, CD Lamb. Come on, bro. Like, I don't think that they're pulling any favors for Jerry Jones like that. Like, Jerry Jones not rushing to get anything done. At that, I feel like might be even more volatile situation than Jamar Chase's.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm so willing to. I mean, I guess I'm just like you're more risk adverse than I am, but like I'm so willing to bet on CD Lamb playing either in Dallas or anywhere else week 1, and no matter what team he's on, he's going to produce at a high clip.
True. I mean, I agree with that fact. I do. Do I want to take the chance of volatility over, like, let's say, because in the CD Lamb situation, we're literally talking about the like first and second receiver.
I was gonna say he's literally pick number 3.
Yeah, he's like in a lot of people. He's pick 1. We sat in drafts a couple nights ago where he was going in the first round, but the other guy on the board that's in that same conversation is Tyreek Hill. He's perfectly fucking happy where he is. So
is he though?
They're not having those conversations.
You sure? Seems like everyone down there is pretty miserable.
Hey, when you're fucking having a kid every 800 yards, you can't tell me you're not living a good life. Right?
I can't believe you said that on stream.
At me. I don't care. That's a statistic, all right? Someone did the fucking math, Tyreek. Like, but yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say with these guys is yes, I am risk adverse. I like to get it correct, especially if you're like the first, second pick in the fucking draft, and this is like, God, do I take Tyreek? Do I take?
Oh yeah, if you're in that position, fuck no. But if I'm stuck in no man's land at pick 6 and Jamar Chase is on the board, I'm taking him.
Yeah, if he drops down there, yeah.
Risk it for somebody who's not going to sign a contract.
Yes, he's going to play this year, whether it's with the bank or with all these guys. There's no way any of them sit out the whole year.
What do you think, PJ? What do you think's happening with these receivers? He froze. This goddamn Arizona internet.
I think he's
in an elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. This is
She's got
quality
that.
stream, content.
It's got that Pat Riley internet.
No, it's the elevator. It's like going up and down.
He said Pat Riley internet. That's fucked up. Sleepy internet. Look, it's. We'll come back to it, PJ. But yeah, I guess with all that, is there any other big contract holdouts that I could think of?
I mean, the one that's concerning to me is, especially if you're a guy that's like willing to draft Christian McCaffrey, is the fact that the 49ers left tackle, who is like the whole reason their offensive line is good, might not play. I don't know what and they're just like giving us this Brandon Ayuk smokescreen that everyone's talking about, but in reality, like, who's more important to that team? The fucking tackle is.
Brock Purdy might not be happy about that either.
Oh.
All right. So, let's get into some discourse. I wish I could get PJ's internet to cooperate with us. Jesus fucking Christ, he's totally blacked out now. This is that Arizona internet, bro. This is why Kyler Murray has problems on Call of Duty.
Yep.
All right, so because of the slow news day, and it was like fucking a pretty slow news day, the only thing that the football world had to talk about was an interview between Tua and Dan Le Batard about his career thus far, and some things were said that has everybody talking about that interview on TV and shit about Brian Flores.
Can I say one thing first before we get into this? Whoever at the Dolphins PR team that said, "Yeah, sure, go on Dan Le Batard's show," that person should be fired. Why are your players going on to a shit stirrer show?
Yeah, Dan Le Batard's a known shit starter. But yeah, so the things I could pull up the quotes if needed, but basically the premise of it is that Tua fucking was getting dissed by Brian Flores week in and week out, told he sucked. You're not the guy that should have been here, this, that, and the third. And then, Mike McDaniel comes in, gives a completely different attitude towards Tua. And, the pros and cons of that, how much better he's been because of it. So this sparked outrage, and not just
Whoa. Typical Miami fan spin zone bullshit. So he was talking about the differences between the coach. You know what the part that pissed people off was? Is that at the end of it, he pretty much calls Brian Flores a terrible person. Not that he was a bad coach. Yeah, he word for word calls him a terrible person.
Calls him a terrible person.
Which, yeah, that's the part.
By the way, you're right. I did forget that, and it's kind of
you forgot that.
It's kind of half my fault, half not. I did read it, but conveniently enough, Dan Le Batard cut that part out of his review on YouTube when I went to just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, of course he did.
Like a dick, but I do know I can't deny that he did say that. He verbatim said that fucking Brian Flores was a terrible person, and he was a bad coach, I guess he was insinuating. But yeah, this got the sports media and our chat room up in arms about Brian Flores and Tua. So, with that being said, if PJ's internet is cooperating, I'd let him go first. But I guess I'm going to let Brendan. We don't have Brandon here. Fucking sucks. But I'll let Brendan take the opening on this.
Look, when I think about terrible people, right? Like, when I think of that word terrible people, it's the worst people in the world. I think of rapists, murderers, dictators, um, all that kind of thing. Now, Monkey, would you agree that that's what Brian Flores is? Is Brian Flores a rapist?
Nah.
So
Come
I'm
on,
cool with
monkey.
like
Use your words.
No, he's not. He's
if
not.
you want to say someone's a bad coach and I didn't like it and it didn't work out well, that's cool. Do that. That's fine. But the point where you're like pretty much calling someone a terrible person and maybe costing them a job in the future, yeah, you're a fucking moron. And good luck to like recruit any other coordinators going down there because if things don't go right, then apparently people could just call you Hitler or something. Have fun with that.
All right, now that I'm in my actual hotel room and I have signal, we're on the topics.
I forgot I was muted. But go ahead, go ahead, PJ. You were gonna go first.
I'll be fair. I think players have they're allowed to have vocal opinions about coaches. You know, they bust their ass for these guys. I think they are allowed to speak their mind.
Shit, my mic was on mute the whole time. Well, I was throwing in jokes. I was fucking like.
He's like, why is nobody?
I was like, y'all ignoring me. Y'all hate me.
Oh, man, I need better lighting.
You suck.
All
right, go ahead, PJ.
I don't like how it seemed like Tua was baited into doing this. Like, hey, this is a safe comfort spot to say this.
It's not a safe space.
It's not a safe space. Like, I agree with what Brandon says. You don't put another person's job at jeopardy just because you had a bad time or you had a disagreement. I mean, your owner was literally caught for bribing a coach to lose games. Like there's no matter what Tua says, there's no safe haven for the Dolphins organization. Like no matter what he says, the Dolphins organization is not going to put them over Brian Flores. What they did was ultimately fucking wrong. Now I think Brian Flores, he made some mistakes in Miami. He fucked up. Like he made some mistakes. Maybe Tua's coaching style is not the style he was supposed to give him. Does that make sense? Not everybody is going to match up. Not every player is going to match up with a coach. Not every coach is going to match up with a player. And we can see that there. Obviously, those two weren't on the same page. But to go and publicly bash another person that's in your industry, I just don't like how that could potentially tumble down the road because the NFL is a fickle business. Mike could get fired. His offensive coordinator, Tua, could get fired. And who knows? Tua could end up in where Brian Flores is. It's just crazy how the NFL is. So when you have someone still fresh in the NFL and you're talking bad about them, I mean, we learned from this from the what's his name? Sean Payton's fucking era. He's bad mouthing the coach that was previously there in Denver, and look what happened to him. He did not have a much better campaign than him. You just don't do that in the NFL. You don't shit where you eat. You know what I mean? You don't shit where you eat. And I don't like how his agent was like, yeah, Tua, go do that fucking interview. You'll be perfectly fine. I think that was a setup and a half. I think it was fucked up. And I think things were said that should not be have said in too public. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I basically get the gist of it. So you guys, both of you guys, first off, both of you guys are fixated on the fact that 2 went out and said something on Dan Le Batard, and obviously we can all agree that Dan Le Batard baited him into it with a shit stirring question that he's known to do. So,
I mean, sure, but like people have done that to Patriots players all preseason about Bill Belichick, and none of them did that. None of them said Bill was an asshole. None of them said Bill was a fucking tyrant. We're glad he's gone. They said, he was a great coach, and good luck to him.
Right. But what I'm saying is, okay, so we're focused on what Tua said, right? Like that, or not what Tua said, that the fact that Tua even had the audacity, right? But we're sitting in a situation where we were discussing like the efficacy of like Brian Flores' tenure with Tua versus Mike McDaniel's tenure with Tua. Like the question that was posed to him was like in that regard, like it was a comparative question. So that was what he was answering. Um, and granted, he went a little off kilter with the terrible person thing. Obviously, there was an emotion attached to that. Like Tua does not fucking like this guy, clearly. Um, but in the same sense, if we're taking, and granted, this is what we're taking his word for it. However, there's been other people that have said this. It's not just been Tua that have said things like this. So,
Did they all happen to be Miami Dolphins players?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Dolphins
That's,
players.
that's interesting.
The you got to remember back when we first had this conversation when Flores first got fired, the defense stuck up for Flores. The offense hated him. So, like if you remember that, Xavier Howard loved him.
Yeah, so at the time when he left, the part of the team that was actually good and competitive liked him.
Right.
Got it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Xavier Howard loved him and fucking what was that guy? Jordan Baker. Guys, the defense basically, even Christian Wilkins was like, "Oh, we're sad to see you go," but the offense fucking, they were throwing like sneak disses at him, and some of them just like flat out called him out on Twitter. So like, and I think this was all before like the Tyreek Hill move happened.
It was.
So we have to, if we're taking we're taking Tua's words for it, and if we're taking Tua at face value and everything that he says is true, which I don't think everything he says is true. It's one side of the story, but since we're working with that, we're all getting mad at Tua having this emotional response where we're calling him a terrible fucking person. All right.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Tua. I'm actually upset at the Dolphins organization of lack of being able to control its in-house personnel. That's my issue. That's my concern. This is a constant thing with the Dolphins. Like it's always a player coming out, a coach coming out. This player did this. This coach did that.
But what you're saying is that Tua shouldn't be out here, talking shit on somebody else in the industry because they might be putting his job in jeopardy and shit to that nature.
It's not even that. It's a respect thing. Like, I'm not going to go and run my mouth about a general manager working at another store that I don't work at. Like, why the fuck am I going to do that?
Even if they're shit at the job, like, I don't even have a problem with the part where he's like, he was a bad coach. Like, that's cool. If you think he's a bad coach, say it. Who gives a fuck? But the point is like, you called him a terrible person. So like I said, so what are the terrible people you think of in this world? I think of murderers and rapists, school shooters. Dude, those are the terrible people in this world.
You know who I think are terrible people too? Bullies. I think bullies are fucking horrible people.
But is Brian Flores a bully, or was he just a hard-nosed football coach?
Well, that's up to
that's where I draw my line. You're asking. I've had some coaches who are considered bullies, but I performed better under those coaches. Like that's just my personal opinion. Like I felt like shit when I let them down, and they made me feel like shit. And I just wanted to perform better. You know what I mean? Like that was just my ultimate drive. Versus like, oh, this coach talked to me this way or told me this. Like I don't know. It's just to me, Tua can have his opinion, but not every coach is going to fucking scratch your balls for you in the morning. Not everybody's going to give you a handy in the morning. Be like, hey, buddy, you okay? You down to call some plays today? You want to do 10 plays today? How many plays you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, some coaches are going to be fucking assholes, and you got to deal with it, man. Like, that's just comes with the territory. You're getting paid millions of dollars to throw a fucking football. And if a guy's going to tell you fucking suck at throwing the football, you better get fucking better. Like, that's just
And you know what? And at the time, bro, he was speaking facts. He was speaking the truth. Tua was playing like shit. He was fucking garbage that season. Like, it wasn't like he's, like, balling out MVP level Tua. Like, no, they sucked.
So let's
and to be fair, a lot of the offensive weapons that were on that team right now weren't on that team when Flowers was there. And I give Flowers credit for turning an organization that was shit and winning out the rest of the season. Seeing the Dolphins go 8-1 on the back end of the season was fucking impressive to me.
On the back of the defense.
especially because of where they were at, like of him getting hounded by the owner, Tua not liking him at all, and he still took one side of the football and made it so good they won 8 games.
So I'm gonna try to nose this.
You're gonna try to combat this, I know.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're talking about like when we're comparing the fucking Patriot system to the Dolphins, I hate the comparison. I really.
Oh
do.
yeah, one's way better. I don't know why you compare the two.
Well, when we're talking about the coaches and like, oh well, this worked for New England and New England's players played well under this system and the coaching system worked there. Yeah, for New England, but what has every coach done after New England? Nothing. Like it's a big meme. Everybody from the Bill Belichick tree leaves the Bill Belichick tree and fucking fails. It's like the big fucking meme. They
Well, that's a
leave the
lie.
goat and then they suck.
Not everyone.
A good amount for it to be a meme. Like enough. For
I
it to be
mean,
any meme.
Bill O'Brien went and led a quarterbackless team to the playoffs 4 times in a row. Brian Daboll did pretty damn good with Josh Allen. You got Nick Caserio, who used to be a GM here. By the way, he's the one who built the Houston Texans, who everyone's fucking glazing right now. So,
okay, but we're okay. We're focused on one team's Texans. Okay, what happened with McDaniel? What happened with Flores? What happened with oh my God, what's the fucking guy that had that big fucking rivalry with him? He went to Philadelphia. They were talking shit on each other. God, it's gonna bother me. Whatever. The guy that went to Philadelphia, he fucking failed too. There's enough of these coaching trees that what were the problems in all of those like locker room problems? The guy that left for Philadelphia, the guy's name I can't remember like right now, immediately had problems with LaShawn McCoy and fucking the receiver.
but Monkey, you know what all those teams have in common where those coaches failed? They were shit desperate teams that were already going to fail anyways.
Nah,
so they're playing the blame game and they're trying to find
Eagles
someone to
team
blame it
was
on.
A shit desperate team.
At the time they were.
I don't think fucking the Raiders were a shit desperate team. They had especially
at the time they were.
I was gonna say the Raiders.
Oh, don't talk about them.
But mine, regardless, what I'm getting at with this is coming to this coaching system and trying that culture obviously didn't work. And if you're a good head coach, you should see it's not fucking working and pivot. And he doesn't. You go head straight long into a problem. And where I call this bullying versus hard coaching is, and I've been under hard coaching. I've been fucking ran up and down because I was too fat. I've been fucking weak on the line and been called a bitch and I was fucking 15. Like, I understand, like, hard coaching. But there's a difference between, like, momentary situations where, like, you're being that was a bitch play. Like, come on, you're better than that. And then there's fucking what Tu was describing, what Flo was doing, where it was every day. And this is the one that really got me. The other guy, this Herbert should have been here. You should have been Herbert. Like, you don't fucking tell when you're stuck with a quarterback that you don't fucking like. It seemed like with him, he actively just hit him over the head with that.
But he was right. Nothing you said is wrong. He was speaking facts, dude. He was getting outplayed by a journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Not every fucking day. Otherwise, there would have never been a rotational fucking system. Ryan would have just been the straight up starter. So it's not every fucking day. What this guy was saying is every fucking day, even in fucking practice, like just every day. And it seemed more like in what Tua was painting that this was I never really getting a shot because I'm not Justin Herbert. Basically. So then Flores leaves after he gets into a problem with the fucking ownership, which I have a whole argument on head coaching and the ownership that I'll get to. But he gets into a problem with Steven Ross. He has that thing happen with Tom Brady. He basically becomes a fucking rat, and this, that, and the third happens with him and the Dolphins. He gets fired. Mike McDaniel comes in. Whole new coaching system. You know, whatever we call it, love and flowers and shit. It is kind of a not a hard-nosed system compared to what I usually see in football. I'll grant it that. It's pretty fucking lenient. But he comes in. He doesn't tell the guy, hey, you suck every fucking day. He does tell him, we have, like, literal video evidence of, like, hey, bro, this was trash. Like, so he does give criticism. But he's not beating him over the fucking head with a stick, with the Justin Herbert stick, every fucking time he makes a mistake. So what happens, like, the very first year? Tua magically transforms into this superhuman fucking quarterback, and then he has a great fucking season until he hits his head 1,000 fucking times. And then the next year he comes out and he's like fucking leading in passing, in every passing fucking category. Does this transfer to wins? No, it doesn't transfer to wins, but you know what it does transfer to? Playoff berths. Two that B-Flow didn't have.
So congratulations, you won one more extra game and then lost in 2 wildcard games.
Correct, but this is still further than he went. And
I actually agree with Monkey. It's a better system for Tua. It works. The point is we're not taking discredit from Brian Flores. Tua obviously works better with Mike McDaniels. Obviously, that's his coaching style. That's what he likes. We got to remember, even at a professional level, certain guys perform well under certain people, and Tua works better with Mike McDaniels. That is true, but we cannot take credit away from Brian Flores, especially going through that. Now that this came out, even solidifies the fact that he's a good coach, because he was dealing with him being angry at his fucking roster.
That, but go ahead. Yeah,
well, you kind of hit the point. Brian Flores was dealing not only with people under him, but people above him, and he still took a team that was 1-8 and went around and went 9-8 after that. A team that fucking hated him, obviously. Obviously, the offense didn't want to cooperate with him, and he still won 8 games with that team. That is hard. I don't care who you are. That is hard to do in the NFL. Very fucking hard to do. And yeah, maybe he talks to people a little too rough. What I'm trying to say is you got to find the right spot for Flores. Flores will flourish in the proper system where he's given the quarterback that he's wants, where he's given control of the defense the way he wants, where he's given control of the offense the way he wants. Both sides are right on this argument. It's just the Dolphins had a mismanagement of personnel at the time that Flores was there. It was not a good roster. It was not a good team to have. He was not the right coach at the time. It was not the right owner at the time. Tua was not the right quarter. It was just all off. Does that make sense? And now that Mike McDaniel is there, the Dolphins are seeing a little bit more success. I don't think Tua is an all-star like a lot of people are saying that he is now. I still see the postseason collapse. I still see the questioning of his reads. I still see the mistakes that Tua does and Flores was angry about. But he is doing better under Mike McDaniels. Now, is that taking away from Brian Flores? Absolutely not. Flores can do well in a system that works for him.
So, okay. But before I move to the Flores thing, I just want to make one last point on Tua because there was the thing with criticism. Tua's not bad at taking criticism because
sure sounds like it.
There's this narrative where like you just said, sure sounds like it. Who was Tua's fucking coach in college? Wasn't it Nick fucking Saban?
Like Nick Saban's not as much as a hard ass as you think.
Nah, dude, he's one of the most critical fucking coaches.
Oh no, not to his players. Behind doors, yes, he's critical. To his players, absolutely not. He even spoke about it on it's funny because I watched him go to I think it was Hard Knocks where he came on for to give advice to the Bears defensive coordinator. He even said it himself. He's like, certain players react well to certain situations. You got to know when to stoke the fire and when not to stoke the fire.
That's okay. So what you said kind of helps me out here because I didn't know how to.
Well, and you got to consider Brian's background, dude. Like, you realize he's from a military family. Like he got
Right.
raised by a Marine drill instructor.
Right. So I understand that. But what PJ said, like no one to stoke the fire, no one to not, no one to rake the coals, and no one to not. That's the difference between a good and bad coach. He does, like I said, Nick Saban is probably one of the most critical coaches, on and off, in and out, to his and for his players. Why you don't see, why you don't have this air like, oh, I don't, he's not critical to his, not publicly, but he beats the shit out of him in fucking practice. I'm very 100% sure of it. I know how he was with the goddamn Dolphins. So, like,
Yeah, but I to that point, like I've had more experience with Brian Flores on my team than you did with yours, and we never had any of these fucking problems. No player was like he's an asshole.
You are right to an extent, for I don't think Brian Flores is a bad coach. Should he be? I think he was just in the system he didn't like, and he didn't want to change for anybody.
He wanted a Nick Saban the system,
which is fair. When
which
you're
is
a
how
coach,
Nick Saban failed here too.
Look at the result he yielded from it. That defense was top. That Dolphin defense was top notch.
Was 6th and 16th. Yeah. He had a 6th ranked defense in his first year and a 16th ranked in his second year when we gutted the team. It was a good team. He was with a gutted team still in the middle of the pack. I can't knock him.
And to be fair, I think you are right on a certain extent. Right now, he is great as a defensive coordinator for the Steelers. Can he be a head coach again? Absolutely. Absolutely. Brian Flores.
And he will be.
He's got things.
He will be.
I think he's got things to contend with. So going back to like what I was saying with Nick Saban, like, and the difference between good coaches and not, like what he just said, you got to know when to stoke and when not. Like he knows when to be a dick and when not. So he knows what players react to what and what not. This is called learning your fucking team and learning your fucking players. Not
here's
stubborn into your ways and being able to adapt to the team that you are.
You are 100% right.
NFL, you need this.
You're 100% right. But this is where I take Brian Flores over anything Dolphins. But look at the person who's being the mature one right now, and look at the person who's bad mouthing the other individual. Tua did not learn his lesson.
Look who's in the position to talk and who's not.
Oh, Brian Flores can talk. He can talk right now.
He just had a press conference today.
Because if Brian Flores opens his mouth, he's gonna have to contend with what I'm about to say. Is he a good coach? And I don't think he is.
Yes, he is.
You say he was dealing with people above and below him.
He's better than any coach the Dolphins have had for 20 years.
Every coach not named Bill fucking Belichick deals with people above and
below. Bill Belichick.
Okay, so or Andy Reid for that matter. No one questions Andy Reid on anything he fucking wants. So, but that also comes with like winning Super Bowls and being proven, which Flo was on his first and second year in the Dolphins. He wasn't proven for shit. But him also not having a good team, how can you fucking build a good team? He didn't want any of the fucking players Ross wanted to give him. Like
I don't know.
Tua wasn't the only guy he said no to. He said no to receivers. He said no to linemen.
Yeah, as he should. It goes back to the whole Bill Parcells thing, why he left the Jets, and why he left New England, frankly, too. He said, you're asking me to make the meal and you won't let me pick out the groceries.
Hey, Monkey, I gotta go.
Go ahead, bro. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Take care, brother.
Bringing up established names, I'm not going to trust a second-year fucking head coach to tell me.
How is he not established? He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
As a defensive coordinator, Brian Flores is a very good coordinator. He's not a good coach. He cannot adapt, and he doesn't know how to play well with others.
Well, Monkey, would you maybe just open your mind to the possibility that the Dolphins are just inherently a shit-run organization that has been dealing with bullshit like this since its inception, and maybe it's the organization and not the coach?
That's my
point.
I'm trying to take the Dolphins kind of out of the situation.
But they're a big part of it.
When we're talking about coordinator versus coach, because what you guys are telling me, I don't need the Dolphins to prove this. Okay, what you guys are telling me that makes him a good coach, I find fundamentally a flawed problem. I don't think you can sit here in a steadfast.
You're
All
telling
right,
me
this is how I
Super
coach.
Bowl
This is how
not a
things are
good
going to run.
credential?
This is how things are going to be successful, and there's no other fucking way. You can't be a second-year head coach and fucking have that attitude. You're not Bill Belichick, and you're not Andy Reid, and you're not fucking proven. You got to work with the fucking tools given to you when you're sitting here in a prove-it situation.
Wait, did you
he
just
was
say
in.
he's not Bill Belichick and he's not Andy Reid? You know he has 3 Super Bowls, right?
Well, yeah, no
He-
shit, no
as
one is.
a coordinator.
It doesn't matter, coordinator or not. He still has 3 Super Bowls. That's 1, 2, 3 more Super Bowls than Mike McDaniels has.
Did Brian Flores build the offense that won any of those Super Bowls?
Did
No, that wasn't his job.
Mike McDaniels take the Dolphins to a Super Bowl and win any of them doing anything?
Did he build any of the defense?
Yeah,
Did
he built.
Mike McDaniels
Yes,
do
yes, he
anything?
did.
Did he pick those players? He picked all those players.
He didn't. No, he didn't pick the players, but he sure as fuck was the one scheming it up and calling the plays.
He coached it and he fucking called the plays. But he didn't build it. When I say build it, I mean
Coaches
like grab the
don't
players,
build
put
play.
them.
You think that coaches have this like,
Yes,
oh, we're
coaches
gonna
and
build this whole. They have say in
coaches,
it,
GMs,
but at
and
the end of the
owners
day, it's the
build-
general manager that makes those decisions.
Coaches, GMs, and owners do have discussions.
Yeah, they have discussions,
Every-
but they're still
every single
overruled
time.
by owners and fucking general managers.
Right. But when they have these discussions, and this is again the difference between a good and bad coach, knowing where you are on the hierarchy. When they have these discussions, and the fucking GM and the owners say, "Hey, we're going with this guy," I don't care how bad you want the other guy. You guys are literally telling me right now. You guys just fought me on it, where the coaches don't build the roster.
Well, they should have
And
given
it's-
Brian that opportunity because he was right. They should have taken Herbert.
It doesn't matter. It's not his job. It's not his job to build the fucking team.
Well, the
So,
point is, Monkey,
the
the Dolphins are
GM's job
still
is to
where
build
the
the
Dolphins
team,
are
and
in
his
the
job
same
is to
spot
fucking
they
coach
are
the
without him. They're still in the same spot. The Dolphins have not gotten better or worse. They're still the exact same fucking thing.
That's not 100% true. We have
One
two
more playoff,
appearances.
2 playoff appearances, and a fucking 1 more win. It's the same.
That's not in the same place.
And
as we
if you're
were
gonna
a
tell
year
me
ago.
Mike McDaniels is a better
couple
coach than
years ago.
Brian Flores, you're on crack.
He's got a better fucking system right now. Yes, I think he's a better coach right now.
And what has he got to prove that? What? Where? Show me
2
his trophies.
playoff berths and 1 more win. And that's
I
good
didn't know we
enough
counted
to say he's
participation
better.
trophies. I didn't know.
But we're asking who's a better coach statistically.
I can't see you over Brian Flores' 3 Super Bowl rings. They're so
As
fucking
a
shiny, right?
coordinator, like that's great. He got a project on an assignment that he wasn't a very big part of.
Yes, he was. You're
my God!
very wrong about that. You couldn't be more wrong about that.
He's
Yeah.
a coordinator.
Yeah. So that's why, you know. You remember
You were
that?
doing
And
so
listen,
well
when
until
we
you
go-
said that statement. Oh my God.
But he wasn't that big of. He was a defense. That's it. He was responsible for how good the defense was. He's not responsible for Tom Brady coming back in any of those Super Bowl things. He definitely wasn't responsible for Tom Brady putting on a fucking magical performance that killed your fucking Falcons and made you a.
So you think he had nothing to do with the defensive scheme in the second half of the Falcons Super Bowl that completely made the Falcons look
Completely shut down their entire offense? Are you fucking what?
No, it's not a complete and utter shutdown of the offense.
They
The
didn't
It was.
score
Falcons-
anything in the fourth
Falcons were
quarter.
still fucking driving. They got bailed out on a
They
couple
didn't
of
score
calls
a
that
fucking
went your.
thing.
I can't even.
Bailed
believe
out.
you're sitting
He
here
said-
arguing this.
he's
They
saying
got
basically that the
bailed
stars
out on a
aligned,
couple of
PJ.
calls, and
The
they
stars
let Tom
aligned.
Brady back on the field to be God, which is what Tom Brady was. Tom Brady won. You're not going to tell me that just the defense.
No, you need to
did
go
help.
back and watch the film, buddy,
You need to
because
go
that's
back
some of
and
the.
Did help, but
all
Tom
this
Brady
fucking
was a
online
major
research you've been
part.
doing today. You need to go watch some fucking film.
You
bud.
know what? And I would say, as someone who's watched that game probably more than any of you combined, The defense was way more a part of that comeback than the offense was.
He seems to forget that fucking fumble that happened on that very dreadful fumble that literally turned the tides of that fucking game. Because if that fumble didn't happen,
what a good call! What a good call to call a blindside blitz.
That was a great fucking call.
Great.
Yeah.
It's very hard to remember that fumble with the ungodly performance of Tom Brady slashing Falcons. What he wasn't being able.
Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does. Without a fucking defensive stance, Tom Brady is nothing.
It's almost like a team with Brian Flores on it. If you have a good quarterback, you'll win.
Without Brady on the center, so like, without Brady on that team, we're not having this discussion. You know?
It's almost like if you have a Brian Flores defense and then some good offensive pieces, you'll win a bunch of football games.
What's funny is you guys are sitting here having this fucking argument with me when you can go the next year and call me an asshole about the fucking interception that saves everybody's lives. Like, you guys are sitting here fighting me on this, and there's a next year where an interception saves the day. Fuck y'all. Like, come on. Come on. Like, at least get to the fucking thing I was ready for. Like, you guys sit here arguing over Atlanta. That was God-tier performance Tom Brady. All right? With a couple of things that went his way on the defensive side of the ball. Like, the next year, the fucking call on the fucking goal line, that's Brian Flores' fucking
virtually shutting out Julio Jones for a whole half. No big deal. That's easy work. Prime Julio Jones. Shut his ass out.
You were doing so great, Monkey, until you said that statement. That was crazy to me.
Listen, I'm not under the fucking, like, he's a part of, not the main part of the fucking Super Bowl, like, teams, bro. He's got 3 rings as a coordinator. He doesn't have 3 rings as a head coach. He fucking called plays. He didn't build the team. All right? When you're a fucking head coach, you've got to deal with way more than
so what you're telling me right now
plays, bro.
Just because you don't have a big part of the team, you don't fucking matter. That's what you're telling me. So you're telling me Adam Vinatieri. No. That's your statement.
If that's what you got out of that statement, let me correct. It's not that they're insignificant, okay? It's that they're not this giant part that you guys are painting.
Coach was part of the Atlanta Falcons fucking roster during that implosion? Mike fucking McDaniels.
Right. But that was still a part of Kyle Shanahan's genius.
Monkey, just listen to me just hear me out. Would you consider that like how crazy this is? How wrong you have to be on a topic for PJ to come on here and be on the Patriots side of the argument?
Literally.
He's mind-fucked. All right? That's his problem. He's mind-fucked. All right? But
I'm mind-fucked by you telling me that Mike McDaniels, who has 0 fucking rings, is better than Brian McDaniels. That's the mind.
Who also has 0 fucking rings? What are you telling me? What I'm telling you is that statistically, the answer to the question of Mike McDaniels being a better statistical coach than Brian Flores, for the Miami Dolphins, I have got 2 playoff berths for Mike McDaniel, 0 for Brian Flores. 19 for 14 for Brian Flores in his last 2 years, 20 for 14 for fucking Mike McDaniel, so 1 extra win. That is statistically the answer to your question, factually, by numeric value, better than Brian Flores.
But I gotta be fair, Brandon. I gotta be fair. You know why? This is a big step for Dolphins fans. This is huge for them. It's huge.
Hey, but PJ,
been winning in so long. The smallest minimal fucking improvement is godsended.
See, now this is where you guys go.
No. But hear me out. I have the best argument. I've been holding my cards. I've been holding my cards. What's more impressive? You know that Brian Flores pulled off essentially the same record as Mike McDaniel with half the talent.
No, with half.
Yeah. Half the talent, 100% half the talent.
He had a better defense. He had a
by much.
better defense.
You guys have better
much?
players now.
He had a 6-16. Do you want to know what the fucking Mike McDaniel's defense's ranks are? 25th and 27th. Not by much. An entire by
so
much.
You just proved the point that Brian Flores is a better coach. You just said it.
What puts points on the board?
You literally just said it.
What
Came
puts
out of your
points
words.
on the board?
You just said it. It's over.
What puts
You checkmated yourself.
Let me know. You think you're falling into another trap. What puts points on the board? Offense. And what do I have to show for it? What do I have to show for it? 2 extra playoff wins for the better offense versus 0 playoff berths for the fucking better defense. That's what I have to show for it.
It's almost like defense
wins.
doesn't matter at all. You know, defense keeps the other team from scoring, which helps you win games. Right?
I completely understand that, but in a league like ours,
I'm so glad I made it to this segment. This
when
segment
the better
is
offenses are winning the Super Bowl, when the better offenses
Really, the Chiefs just won.
Games,
The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl because of their defense. Just this
literally.
last year.
Did they have the better offense going into that game?
No,
they did not. Not even close.
Versus the Eagles? Yes, they did.
no, versus the 49ers.
You mean the 49ers?
Oh, yeah, never mind.
And actually, yeah, versus the
I'm thinking
Eagles
2
too.
years
They had
ago.
the worst
No,
offense.
You're right. Last year they did have a worse
Hey,
offense.
do you remember the last time the Patriots were in the Super Bowl and they won 14-3?
Defense wins championships.
Not all the time, and definitely not in 2023 and 2024. Apparently, not in the 2020s. Apparently, just not for the Dolphins. Seriously, because that's.
Well, to be fair,
I'm looking at the numbers right here.
Your defense was fucking littered with injuries.
Oh, now we're making excuses for me. I thought
it's true. They were littered.
I thought that wasn't true. I thought this was the Dolphins suck, and you can't be putting
They do.
all the fucking defenses.
They do suck. You guys can't keep it fucking
So now you're going to
You
tell me
monkey,
that,
you
in
keep
fairness, if
You keep
my
thinking that-
defense was not shattered, I might have been in a
Monkey,
home game for the
That's part of
playoffs,
being a
right?
good- I don't know why you think that's not part of being a good team. Conditioning them right, getting the proper training staff to take care of your fucking team, to
I'm
make
giving
sure
you
they're not
guys
injury
a whole
prone.
bunch
That's
of
something
shit
the
to
Dolphins
give me-
fucking suck
to
at.
give me on Brian Flores today. You guys are hilarious.
You're still gonna lose to us, Monkey. You're not gonna beat us.
Listen.
Look, that's fine. You know, enjoy your one extra fucking win. I don't know what to tell you. Have fun.
Listen, and when it comes to the question of being a good coach, it's not just the one extra win. If we take the Dolphins,
Yeah, the whole point is winning games.
If we take the Dolphins and these numbers and shit out of the equation and go back to just how he is as a fucking head coach, when it comes
So what you're telling me is take the objective thing about sports
I've
out.
already won with the
Take
numbers.
wins and losses
Listen,
out of it.
Hey, I've already won with the numbers. That's over. Like
with one
I've already
win.
won with the one. It's those are wins. Those are numeric.
Is
values.
this what I
No,
sound like?
it's
Is this
one
what
win, not plural.
Is this what I sound like when I get ignorant?
Yes.
Hey, when you asked
Fuck, man,
me,
I feel so bad for you. I'm
when
sorry,
you
Brandon.
asked me to prove Mike McDaniel was a better coach than Brian Flores, I did it by numerics. You're just mad at the
You
margin.
won one more
You're
game.
mad at the margin, but the fact remains the same.
You know what, Monkey? You can have this victory. You can have
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah,
so
have
listen.
it. You know what I used to. Hey, when my team wasn't rebuilding, you know what I would call it when we would lose in the wild card? A failure. That was a failure shit season, and everyone should be fired.
Well, we got rid of a lot of people, so I mean,
Exactly. Everyone got fired.
Including Brian Flores.
Correct.
This was one of the best topics I've ever had. I've never
Honestly, this has been the greatest
so
thing.
adamantly
But-
for one extra win before in my fucking life.
Like my team had one or two off years with
Get
the
ready,
greatest coach.
PJ. You have no idea. This is just week 2 of the preseason.
Just the perspectives
We're
are so
fucking
crazy.
bullshitting right
I
now,
love
bro.
how Monkey's taking my role so well
Wait,
right now. He's
wait,
taking
wait,
me
wait.
in front of it.
You have no idea.
Dude, my team fired the greatest coach of all time because he had 2 bad seasons, and my monkey's like, we made the wild card. This guy's the GOAT.
I have a new superpower. What are you
was going to say, I've taught you too much, Monkey. You know too much, bro. I have to stop this.
I can be extra ignorant.
The art of winning arguments just because I fucking can.
Anyway, listen. If we take, I wanted to get to that. If we take all of the numbers and shit out and leave that alone, and we go back to my main point, coordinator versus coach, and why he's a way better coordinator versus a trash coach. Coordinators don't have to deal with the crazy extra things like making fucking the head coach
singing nursery rhymes to 2 in the morning. Hey, buddy, you okay?
Being buddy with the quarterback that you're not responsible for because you're on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, let me ask you this though, before you go on with this point, what does Mike McDaniel do with the defense at all? He's just a glorified offensive coordinator.
Oh.
So you mean the Dolphins learn from their mistakes? Great. But what I'm saying is, with Brian Flores as a coordinator, he's way better suited because he has one pack of guys. His coaching strength is obviously very good for defenses. The coaching styles, I haven't heard any defensive players really talk shit on him, even on the Dolphins. He's got a 6th and 16th ranked team on the Dolphins. I'm very sure last year the Vikings weren't that bad of a defense. Like,
they were for not having any talent, they performed very well.
And with the New England, he's got 3 rings. So like, he's not just a good coordinator. You can argue one of the better ones, great even. But as a coach, when there's so many other responsibilities past being a coordinator, handling the defense and calling those plays, when you have to focus on team building and making a GM happy and making an owner happy and all these arguments and
hand jobs for all the boys,
this fucking quarterback that I don't fucking like, it's too much for him. Another guy would either like, hey, me or him, I don't want to make a big thing of this, me or him, let's like Bill Belichick, if he doesn't like this quarterback, doesn't like this situation, it's not a 7-week fucking big news story on ESPN where everybody knows about it. He just says, "Hey, him."
Yes,
and me,
it is.
Yes, it is. Did you not just watch what happened with Mac Jones?
You guys literally just sat here and Mac Jones was.
It was a whole 2-year debacle.
Mac Jones was more of a fucking joke and a meme. It wasn't.
Hey,
really
you remember when they
drafted
Jimmy Garoppolo? That was a story for that whole season because they took Jimmy with the 2nd round pick.
Why do you think Tom Brady left the Patriots? He was over Bill Belichick.
No, I gotta give you that one. He didn't have a problem with it, but that was Tom Brady and fucking Bill
You know what? I'll put money on it. In 2 years,
kind of an abnormality.
In 2 years from now, when the Dolphins don't do shit and they fire Mike McDaniel, I guarantee you.
Fucking Tua comes out and
I guarantee you.
Fucking pussy.
No. It's going to be defensive players now. Defensive Dolphins players, and they come out and say that guy was the biggest pussy I've ever seen in my life.
I honestly don't think,
you fucking read Tua nursery rhymes in the fucking locker room.
This will be giving you guys kind of a dub. I think Mike McDaniels is too much of a pussy to do that. I don't see Mike McDaniels coming out fucking like if he gets fired and going on ESPN and just shit talking.
You know what would take the Dolphins to a Super Bowl right now? And you're going to be pissed, Monkey, because you know it's going to be right. If Mike McDaniels was the head fucking coach and Daniel Flores was the defensive coordinator.
I 100% agree with that.
I agree, but in the opposite way. Mike McDaniel be the coordinator.
Mike McDaniel be the offensive coordinator. Yeah, actually, yeah, no, yep.
Nah, I liked PJ's original. Like I
said, it would work
Flores,
either way, honestly, because one's going to control the offense, obviously, and the other one's going to obviously control.
You know what the problem is?
You know what? You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, because the Dolphins have proven that they have learned from their mistakes somewhat. It takes them fucking 6 years to do it. They're the slowest learners in the NFL next to the Chicago Bears. But they have figured out that, hey, if it's not your strong suit, maybe you shouldn't fucking worry about it. So, I guess, yeah, in Brendan's hypothetical, it would work too. Either way, it would work because
back to that Chicago Bears statement. They actually look like they're getting their shit together this year.
for now.
It took them 20 fucking years to do so, and then we're in
I'm
preseason.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not overly hyped, but Caleb Williams can kind of ball.
Yeah, I agree.
Again,
We'll see. I don't
preseason.
like it's preseason, so
It's the real season, but like the shit I've been seeing in preseason, I'm like, wow, this kid's kind of got it.
what's crazy is like it's with like all these quarterbacks that got taken in the first round. Like I haven't seen some shit like this in a while where like they all look good.
They all look good.
Even like Bo Nix, like for what he is, looks really fucking good, which is crazy. But back to my point. You know what? I just think they're.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But what else do we have to talk about?
You're right. But like, usually when you see rookie quarterbacks in the preseason, you see the shakiness. It looks like these guys are comfortable.
Which I think they're being forced to be comfortable, but that's another. I think Tom Brady touched on that this week too. That's another combo.
Yeah, I have a different opinion on Brady's comments. Brady has a very unique perspective. He did not get to experience the NFL like most people do. So
yeah, he did not get. Yeah,
I wouldn't take what he says as gospel. You know what? It's kind of making sense. This whole thing, this whole conversation about the Dolphins. I'm realizing a lot. You know how like everyone hated Vic Fangio down there, and he got ran out the building. This past year, I think it's
get bailed. He didn't get run out.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever makes it sound better. So I think what happened is the defensive players sometimes they'd look in the offensive meeting room and they'd see all the hookers giving all the players blowjobs while Mike McDaniels makes them all ice cream, and they're like, well, what the fuck? Why can't we do that in the defensive room? So, and then they just like, well, we want hookers and ice cream. We want bedtime story time.
We want nursery rhymes saying to us while we sleep.
Listen, y'all can say what you want, but
I bet you Mike McDaniels tosses to a salad.
I bet you he tells nursery rhyme stories to Ben every night. He texts him a fucking goodbye kiss. Like, I get it.
Hey, buddy, you did great at practice today. Keep it up, champ.
And he gets a gold star every time he throws a touchdown. Like, I understand, but
could you imagine if they did it like a college program, like they were Oklahoma, and they just had little gold stars on their helmets for every touchdown they had?
Good
he probably pitched it one meeting, and somebody was like, "Nah, bro, don't do that."
Good coaches learn how to work with these things.
Good coaches put gold stars on helmets. Heard, monkey. Thank you.
If it needs to happen to get your fucking guy to play good football, bro, I don't care if you got to. Listen,
hey, well, why aren't the hand jobs working on the offensive line?
Y'all remember the show Blue Mountain State? Did y'all watch? I'm very sure everybody here watched Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, good shit.
You remember the episode about the pocket pussy?
Yeah, of course.
So if you telling me that your number one linebacker that runs over fucking people and fucking gets you like 20,000 fucking sacks a game, and all he needs to do is fuck a pocket pussy, you're not going to hand him a pocket pussy, you'd be a bad coach. So if you got to give fucking golden stars and suck this kid's fucking dick and feed him bedtime stories to make him a passing leader, fucking do it. Don't fight against it. Why would you fight against it?
Okay, so where are the pocket?
Not fucking good enough. Maybe
where are the pocket pussies for the offensive line?
One fucking playoff berth. Maybe I want a Super Bowl.
Well, what did you say? Maybe the defense doesn't need to fucking die, right?
Oh, maybe Mike McDaniels needs to stop focusing on bedtime stories and focus on fucking health for his players. How about that? That's what a head coach should do.
That's not. Well, no,
yeah,
I can't say that's
say some
shit. No. I was about to say that's not 100% his realm, but there is some responsibility that he could do with that.
Yeah, maybe if we're not so focused on Tyreek Hill breaking records, he'd be healthy enough to help you win a fucking game.
Also med and trainer, maybe not have fucking bad to his health, fucking.
Actually, Brandon brings up a valid point. One of the main reasons you guys lost in the fucking playoffs was because Tyreek Hill was not 100%. Why? Because he's out there playing fucking cheetah every week. Because Mike McDaniels.
No. Tyreek Hill did that shit to himself.
No. Who calls the fucking plays and draws them up?
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't have control of his locker room. That's not a
No.
good sign. He's
No,
probably a
no,
bad
no.
coach.
And this is the one fault you or the one dub you.
All right, we're beating a dead horse here. We're beating a dead horse.
Wait. Last point to that. This is the one dub that you will have a Mike McDaniel. But to Tyreek Hill's fucking injury issue, that was him going for that 2,000-yard record. And on top of that, if you actually did listen to the two interview in its entirety, he says it right in the beginning. The whole fucking team, when Dan Le Batard asked him, like, how does this fucking work with Tyreek Hill's getting like 1,000 balls and Jalen Waddle gets like one? Does Jalen Waddle bitch at you for that? No, he doesn't. There's like a team agreement that we were all trying to do this for Tyreek Hill, and the coach was in on it. So yes, does the coach
sounds
have
like a bad coach to me?
Does the coach have some responsibility in making the decision? Fucking let's base the whole fucking team's success on this guy's record. Yeah, that's probably a stupid fucking move. But
hey,
also,
but to Monkey, that's a win, bro. We got a playoff berth, dude. Hell yeah.
Hey, I'd rather put all my chips in the best fucking player in the league.
Playoff berth. Yeah, man. Fuck yeah, we're here. Now let's get stomped out in the wild card.
Then sit there and fucking tank an entire offense and throw a hissy fit for 2 years and bully a quarterback because his name isn't Justin Herbert, which, by the way, ain't doing much better.
So we've come to a mutual agreement. Mike McDaniels and Brian Flores are bad head coaches. Done.
You're crazy. You know what? We'll leave it like that because we do have to move on. I feel like that's a good concession.
What's going to be awesome is when Harbaugh takes the Chargers and Justin Herbert to like the AFC Championship.
You know what? I can't wait for the Falcons with Kirk Cousins to win the fucking Super Bowl this year. That's what I can't
Will
wait for.
Never happen with Daddy Mahomes in charge.
Nah, buddy. Falcons coming. Falcons coming for us.
Man, you're such a rookie, man. You're falling for the hype train just like your poor Dolphin soul always does.
I will give the Falcons this. They're going to win that special needs division for sure.
Oh yeah, they're going to win the special needs division, but they're going to be the Dolphins of the NFC. They're going to do great and then get stomped out in the wild card.
No, they might get lucky. They might get the Cowboys in the first round.
Oh, what a
yeah, that's
but that's another.
That would be the greatest thing to ever happen in football.
I'm not gonna lie, I would be a Falcons fan for that day. I will wear it proudly too as they stomp out the Cowgirls.
All right, so since we're on the Falcons, I guess we'll start with them first. The big acquisition that everybody talked about over the offseason was Kirk Cousins. They also picked up Darnell Mooney, and the most recent move they made was Matt Judon to shore up their defense in a trade with the Pats. They gave Jonnu Smith to the Dolphins. Matt Collins and Cordell Patterson's gone. Obviously, we're getting rid of Ritter for bringing in Cousins. Plus, we drafted Michael Penix down here, which was also a meme in its own right because we made Kirk Cousins come here on the premise of, we wouldn't be doing this, and then they do this. What else? Raheem Morris is in his second year, correct? This isn't a change.
Oh, no, that is his first year.
Oh, okay, so this is a change. Top fantasy leaders, Bijan is leading, Drake London behind him, and Kyle Pitts is again being
the real engine behind this team that's going to make or break it is if Kyle Pitts has a breakout year.
I think. All right, so here's what I think with the Falcons. Like, first off, it's really hard not to be excited if you're a Falcons fan because of the last. Few years.
No. It's easy to not be not excited. No. This is a trap. This is 1,000% a trap.
Well, anybody not named PJ who's very, very clearly scarred, it's hard not to be.
We just have high expectations here, Monkey. We don't accept fucking wild card berths as our Super Bowls.
If you're taking, I don't understand why you would have high expectations. Your history doesn't tell you that you should be having high expectations.
That's crazy coming from somebody who watched their team literally do nothing forever.
making a Super Bowl has been a crowning achievement in Atlanta, and you haven't even won it. Like,
You haven't even witnessed your team win a playoff game.
no, but when I read history books, I still got two more than you.
Read history books. It's not even on VHS.
No, that's why I said I had to read the history books, dude. Are you kidding me?
Actually, you're right. You won that one. You're right.
It's on film, baby. Anyway, so listen. The big reason why is you're right. There was the coaching change. This coach that was here before. I forget his fucking name, but he was a complete fucking
Arthur
name
Smith?
last year. Arthur Smith, yeah. He had this tendency to just not use his best players. Kyle Pitts wasn't being used. Bijan Robinson wasn't being used. Don't under fucking stand
I
it.
don't
Never
think
gonna
it was
understand
that.
it.
I think he was more scared of Riddler fucking it up than using
Can
his
you
best players.
can you blame him?
Like
because that doesn't
holy
explain Bijan Robinson. It really doesn't. It doesn't explain not
Yeah.
getting Bijan Robinson.
I think it makes
It does
total
explain Bijan Robinson. You're trying to run every single down, and the team's like, "Hey, we know you're gonna fucking run because Riddler
Not
sucks."
run every single down, but like he didn't run at all. Like
No, he
was
did. He
fucking
ran a lot.
absent. Nah.
Yeah, they ran with Tyler Algier a bunch.
You know what he did and why you think he ran a lot is because he made the most of his carries. Like Bijan Robinson's going to be a star back in this league, but he didn't run a lot. His fantasy statistics were not supportive of that.
I think your running back gets much better when you can implement play action.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Which is why Kyle Pitts was also missing, and you didn't see a lot of play action. Like, again, I understand having a fear because Desmond Ridder sucked, but there's also like a fear and completely handcuffing your fucking team because of it. You know,
The
and that's what he was
weakest
doing.
position on this team now, in my personal opinion, is the head coach.
Yes, because
he's unproven.
He's a first year. He's a first year, so I agree with that. But I do think that this coach is going to learn from the last regime and actually prioritize utilization of Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. Like, at least fucking let's run it and see what they do.
Well, they brought in a really good coordinator. They brought in Zach Robinson, who was with the Texans last year with Stroud. So they at least have someone good calling plays.
They also have, Drake London, which is severely overlooked in the receiver market. And I understand why, because Desmond Ridder was his quarterback. But now he's got Kirk, the new Nightmare Cousins. And Kirk Cousins was used to throwing to fucking Justin Jefferson. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to that he's throwing to Drake London. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be good for Drake London, too. Yeah, I definitely have them winning the division, so they're going to get a playoff berth. I don't know if they're strong enough on the defensive side of the ball yet.
I think they are. Their defense is really sneaky good. They have a really good secondary. They had a really, really good run defense last year, but they just lacked pass rush. And now with having Judon to that as well, I would suspect. Yeah, I think they're not like going to be like a top 5 defense. I wouldn't say that, but I would definitely put them in the upper half of the league.
Yeah, but when we're talking about playoff teams, I just don't think that's.
Yeah, but the thing with the NFC's weak.
What I think they're going to be is they're not going to be like the Cowboys, who are a turnover machine, but their turnover margin is going to increase dramatically. That's what I think is going to change. Yeah, they're going to give up. They're going to give up big plays. I still think they're going to give up big plays. They're going to give up touchdowns, but you're going to see a lot more turnovers forced by this defense, and they're going to give the offense more chance. Last year, the offense was fighting for chances to move down the field. This time, I think the defense is going to give them more chances, and now the offense is a little bit more balanced. I think it's a solid team to compete, but how consistent can they be? That's the question.
Well, and it's going to be hard to tell because they have, like, statistically the easiest fucking schedule in the NFL this year. They don't play anyone this year. fucking
And
good.
also that linebacker core is still sus. That's still
Yeah.
one of their weakest units on that team. So a lot of teams are going to be able to run down their throat. They're going to do a lot of dink and dive.
Matt Judon helps the run game.
Judon will help the run game, but still the
A little
linebacker
bit.
is really, really weak.
At this point in his career, I don't think he helps that much. Like
He's
and I
going to
know
help a lot, but not to the extent that people are
not for the run game, because Matt he's a, and I don't mean to be disrespectful by saying this, but I've watched him for 3 years now. He's very good at his one dimension, but he's very one dimensional at this point in his career. And I know you guys played, so you guys know this technique. He runs the hoop, bro. He runs the hoop past the quarterback and gets sacks.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Which is what the Falcons needed. They needed more sacks. They needed more stop on passes, and that's what they're trying to stop because that's their weak area right now. I think Grady Jarrett is the run stopper on that team, so he'll bolster that. He'll be able to help with that. It's all going to come down to ultimately Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins.
All right. So 9 wins.
9 or 10.
Yeah, I'd say a little more probably, just because of how weak their schedule is.
Just how weak their schedule is, and that division is still ass. They still get to play the Panthers twice. They get to play the Saints twice. So those are easy wins for them.
Yeah, that's 4, and then I think they're probably split with the Bucks. So there's 5 already, and then their out of conference games are pretty easy too. I think
you're really going to see what type of Falcons team this is within the first 5 weeks, because I believe their schedule is game 1 is against the Steelers. I think game 2 is against the Eagles, and then game 3 is against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and then it gets super easy.
The next team, it was hard for me to get an opinion on them because last year they were that bad.
Spoiler alert, they're going to be that bad.
Are we talking about the Panthers?
Yeah, the Panthers. It doesn't look like they're going to be improving on that much. Deontay Johnston was a nice addition. He's sneaky, one of my favorite receivers in the league right now because his separation rate is huge.
I don't give a fuck what that offense does. Losing Brian Burns was the worst thing to happen to that franchise.
This is insane.
And C.J. Henderson.
Rock, CJ,
and Von Bell.
Hayden Hurst.
Like, Burns was literally a good 80% of that defense.
And they didn't get... Like,
and Jeremy Chin, too. That's crazy.
They didn't get much in return either. I think they're accepting the fact that they have to rebuild again. And it honestly, this is the year to see if what's his name can actually step up and not just be a dink dive passing quarterback. He has to get more comfortable. He just wasn't comfortable.
Dude, just from looking at him, because I had his biological twin on my team for fucking 3 years. Like he's Mac Jones, bro. It looks the same. He's Mac Jones.
I think he's got better fundamentals and better. I think he's smarter than Mac Jones. I just think he's just like, I don't want to fuck this up, so I'm just gonna do this and keep it simple.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's just there's no ever chance of him threatening you with the big play, and it just makes the defense's job so easy.
That I agree with. Yes. I want to see them, even if they are expecting to lose. I expect the Panthers to be more aggressive with him. If not, this was a waste of a pick. Like, why are we thinking that we're literally playing to fail right
now? So tank year.
I expect a tank year, yes.
And I just think this is one of those teams that's chronically dysfunctional. Just all these teams that are chronically dysfunctional, I just come in with a negative opinion on. So I'm just like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, the thing is, they were so great with Cam Newton. I just hate how his career just ended so fast, man.
Well, and that's when they were functional, because they had a really good owner. They had Ron Rivera as a coach, who's a really fucking good coach, and Cam's a great quarterback, and they were doing great. And then they bring this fucking new dipshit owner in, and everything's gone to hell.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Panthers, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more fucking dysfunction. Over here in New Orleans, there is absolutely nothing to be excited about.
It's
First off,
all those years with all the fake years on the fucking contracts. That credit card bill came due.
And
Yeah.
if I was like a teammate to Derek Carr, and I don't want anybody to take this out of context or fucking sue me or kill me, but if I was a teammate, I'd find a way for Derek Carr to get really fucking hurt so he doesn't play for this team anymore.
so
Like, they pay that man so much money to be fucking average.
Yeah. Look, the Saints are just now into the position where the Patriots were 3 years ago. That the Bills are coming due. You're just going to have to suck. It is what it is. And if you're going to do this, do it correctly and suck really fucking bad.
And I feel so bad for certain players too. Like I hate the Saints with a fucking passion, but fucking what's his name on defense, dude? You gotta love him.
Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan. I feel so because his
Yeah.
time is over. It's over. It's done for him. They also got what's his name on safety?
Oh, Tyrann Mathieu.
Like, these are guys that like were good, but like they're just at the end of their careers, and now you're just dying in New Orleans.
Well, their defense does have some talent. Their defense, I think, is by far their better unit.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's just like you have to carry such a fucking spurting like I know they have Olave, but like the whole Mike Thomas thing, fuck, dude, that sucks, bro. Like I believed in him last year, and it's just like he's just injury prone. Like
it's over.
It's over, and now you got
He's
a young
done.
Chris Olave, but like that's it. That's all you have. You might have a cool tight end in Johnson, and then you have fucking Taysom Hill.
Yeah, and they got did they have Kamara still? Yeah, they have Kamara.
But
Yeah,
like
they have
he's
Kamara.
another player that I think is just like he's past his wonder years.
Yep.
Like you said, the bill came due, and now they're just suffering.
Look,
Yeah,
just do it right, bro. Just embrace the suck, tank the fuck out of this, and draft
Get a
Shedeur
good
Sanders.
quarterback, and then
I
start
Yeah.
over.
don't think they have a choice, dude. They first off, they entered this year with the worst salary cap situation of all of the 32 NFL teams.
And they were like the thing that everyone would point it to when everyone's like, "Oh, the salary cap isn't real. Look at what the Saints do." And I was always like, "Bullshit. This is gonna end really fucking badly." And then here we are. It ended really fucking badly, and they got nothing out of it.
Now we're stuck in this weird limbo where we don't have anything to rebuild with. So we have to start. This is very literally a start from scratch team. Oh man, and they've got so many broken parts still a part of it. You got a lot of old guys still here. Alvin Kamara, we just discussed him. Derek Carr, we're not sold on for sure.
And now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably a worse situation than what the Patriots found themselves in. Because at least with New England, they still had a top 10 defense. Like, I don't think this is a top 10 defense anymore. So they really just.
They still have Tyrann Mathieu, correct?
Yeah, but again, like, how many more years of that are you expecting? Same with Cam
Honestly,
Jordan, not many.
He was on a downcline this last year, so.
Yeah.
These poor guys are too old to be relevant and too broke to fix it. So, this is a perfect year for a tank. This might actually be the worst team in the NFL this year.
And looking at their draft, though, they're starting in a good place, though. They got a really good tackle. They drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's a fucking phenomenal corner. So those are two really good young players. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, halfway through this year, we see Spencer Rattler play. Granted, he's not a prototypical NFL quarterback by any means, but I mean, I'm not sure how many of the people watching watch a lot of college football, but Spencer Rattler is fucking not bad. Like, I honestly do think with some seasoning, he's going to be better than Derek Carr.
So I'm a guy that doesn't watch a whole lot of college football that isn't Miami Hurricanes, and I know that.
He could be the spark that they need, you know, like what the Patriots needed from Tom Brady. Like, he could be that guy, but that's a long shot. But who knows?
It's a long shot, and so it's do you risk? Because I think he's good enough to where they could get a couple wins with him. But the conundrum is do you want to do that? I'd argue against it. I'd argue you want to be the best at being the worst, and then go get an elite quarterback in the draft.
I would even if this guy is like super super duper good, you can find that out without playing him in game. Granted,
Yeah.
game time confirms it, but you can find out the projection of that without putting him in a game. I think you use this year to tank your shit because you don't have a good team to win. Work on this kid in the off season and basically do what the Dolphins did before they got into the draft right after Tua. Remember when the Dolphins were discussing in the next year's draft? Okay, do we want to? We have a really good spot. Do we want to take a quarterback here? Do we want to go for Waddle? They have the same advantage. They can suck this year, get a good fucking draft spot in the top 5, and figure out then, which is I find an advantageous position because you have a year of body of work, at least in practice, to figure out, okay, is this kid worth putting a receiver on him, or do we go and get who we think might be the next elite quarterback for?
And I mean, it's a tough spot to be in because I'm a big college football guy, and I'll tell you this, man, the quarterback class next year is the complete opposite of what we got this year. We got one guy. It's Shador Sanders. It's the only guy we're fucking getting. There's not a plethora of quarterbacks that people are going to be able to choose from this year again. So they're in a shit spot here.
Ugh. It was an advantageous position before you said that. That's right. Although, hey, being in Shador Sanders sweepstakes isn't bad either.
No, it's not. But you're going to have to be the best at being the worst.
I think the Saints are very capable. Granted, they gotta compete with the Panthers, but I'm not high up on the Saints.
I'm not high on the Saints in real life or anything in fantasy. There's just nothing here that I'm interested in.
Do not draft a Saint. Do not draft a Panther. Do not draft a Commander not named Scary Terry. Like, don't draft a Dolphin running back.
Even then,
this is sound advice,
dude. So I was like, I'm like starting to really prepare for the draft now, and I'm going through the teams, and I started picking because I know we already did the Commanders, so I want to come back to this because I wasn't watching them too hard in the preseason. Dude, they have some fucking problems. Like, and it's getting hidden by the hype of the quarterback. That offensive line is dog shit. Dude, he in the preseason, he was throwing the ball within 1.85 seconds. Because that's all the time he had.
There's one guy, we'll talk about him later, that everybody's super high up on in fantasy charts. And it's
actually, with the Saints, I will give one person that I wouldn't mind is Rashid Shaheed. He's been a flyer of mine last year, and he is very boomer bust. He's very like, I'll get you either 5 points or 40. So,
yeah,
it's kind of a waiver wire guy, but I'll at least give him his props.
Same with Alvin Kamara, because I think he's just going to be the crux of that offense.
Yeah, I'm cool with Kamara being on my bench.
There's one team that I think can challenge the Falcons, and that's the Buccaneers. And I think this team goes as far as Baker Mayfield can take them. That's really what it is. This team's got a solid receiving core. They just added Sterling Shepard to it. They let go of Russell Gage. That kind of hurts. But you still got Mike Evans there. Sterling Shepard isn't bad as long as he can stay fucking healthy, and he's not playing in New York on that fucking turf, so he's got a shot. Really love Bryce Hall and Jordan Whitehead right here. These are fucking nice additions to a defense. We know Shaq Barrett left. We know what happened with him. Devin White was kind of a loss too. Um, but for the most part, this team has what it needs to win football games. It is just literally, can Baker Mayfield consistently win with this staff? So that's the thing with Tampa. I think it's that simple with Tampa. There isn't a big analysis needed. They did decent in the draft. They didn't do like something crazy, but they did decent in the draft. They shored up, needs like the center and the linebacker for sure was needed. They just lost a whole shitload in the line, and they lost Evan White. So these things were needed. This Bucking Irving guy, love him.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because I know Rashad White is getting drafted pretty high this year, which he should be. But just, with how the running back position is, if he goes down, or even without him going down, there's a really good chance. I mean, I'm not drafting him high, maybe at all, but the name to keep an eye on because
If
he was a
you're
big
running
part of that
back
offense in
fucked,
Oregon.
yeah, if you're running back fucked, Bucky Irving. This guy might be a pretty big thing later in the season. Um, but with this team, it's more of the same, and I'm not mad at it. It's just that simple question: can Baker Mayfield win football games? And I mean, I don't think that's a question that can be answered. We just got to wait and see how it plays out. That's the fun. That's the fun part of watching Baker Mayfield football. It is the most chaotic form of football. If you ever needed to like watch football in the sense of not being a team fan, like watching football for a player instead of rooting for the Dolphins, rooting for Baker Mayfield, that's some of the funnest and most heartbreaking moments in football. If you solo focus on rooting for Baker Mayfield, your heart rate is going through your chest. It's some of the best and most entertaining and exciting stuff in the NFL. It doesn't always translate to wins, but you know, one of my favorite players in the NFL right now, Baker
Saying
Mayfield.
I've been a big Baker fan going back to his days at Oklahoma, and I just root for all these guys like this so hard because don't get me wrong, like I am a fan of my team, but like I also like root for guys across the league that I like. Um, and just like think about the shit that he had to go. Like he gets drafted to Cleveland with all the pressure in the world. He takes them to the playoffs for the first time in God knows when. They fucking steamroll the Steelers. They fucked them up so hard in the playoffs. He threw for like 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. Balled
Not
out.
the
Then
Steelers. Eagles.
huh? You broke up.
Hey, check that Pat Riley internet, PJ.
It was the Eagles.
Oh, it was the Eagles.
No, because he was with Cleveland, he couldn't have played them.
Oh, you're talking about beforehand. I thought
Yeah. When he was with Cleveland, then they dump him. He has like a magical 3 games with the Rams. I'm not here saying that like Baker Mayfield by any means is gonna like go to the Super Bowl this year, but I just hate the narrative surrounding this guy that somehow he's just like some shit quarterback. Like Baker Mayfield's fucking good, dude. I don't care what anyone says.
If
I'm
I
on
could
that
have,
trend where I think Baker Mayfield is kind of a shitter quarterback. It was impressive that he beat the Eagles. It was impressive that he did with the Bucks, and that's where my whole 55-man roster, perfect scheme, perfect setup goes into it. He fits well into the Bucks roster. Now, I think they're Atlanta's biggest contenders. I think if there's a person that can threaten the division, it's them. Do I see the Bucks being as consistent as they were last year? No, I don't see it.
that either.
I don't see that consistency. Like I think last year was a little bit of, a lot of like Monkey said for the Super Bowl with the Falcons and the Patriots. There's a little bit of luck sprinkled here and there. I think that's what happened. I don't really think that what they've made is really a sustainable formula because there was a lot of Baker Mayfield scrambling around and throwing up Hail Marys and Mike Evans just doing Mike Evans fucking things. We also got to remember that Mike Evans is getting old. And that year where he's going to have a decline is coming sooner than later. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a downtick year for him.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either because their schedule last year was
Cookie cutter.
It wasn't the hardest. Their schedule this year.
It's a little harder, but it's not that hard.
It's not crazy hard, but I like the fact that Atlanta is now competitive because it pretty much was literally the deciding factor of that division was Atlanta versus Bucks last year.
They got the Eagles. They got the Ravens. They got the Eagles. They got the Ravens. They got the Cowboys in the schedule. They got the Chiefs in the schedule. Like this, there is a bit of.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if they steal one of those games.
Exactly. I was just gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if they steal one, not even just one, two of those games.
Ultimate trap team because the opinion's not high on this team, but man, they got some fucking talent.
And that's the thing that scares me is like a lot of people in fantasy are gonna be like, "Oh fuck yeah, Baker Mayfield! I'm gonna pick him up. I'm gonna pick Mike Evans up." Don't be surprised if you get fucked in fantasy because the Bucks have a down year. It's just they're not one of those teams that they're not sustainable. They're not a proven, consistent team.
So I have a counter on that. Mike Evans has proven.
Mike Evans is yes, but is he really a top? Is he a top 5 receiver?
Yeah, I think it's comfortable.
No, but I would take him in the second or third round.
He's
second or third round of a draft, a snake draft.
Yeah, the snake draft.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say like not a.
He's been consistent no matter what quarterback, and he's had all sorts of quarterbacks, Jameis Winston to Brady and everything in between. He has proven consistently to be in fantasy, maybe not top 5, but in the top 8. And point bearers. So,
but the thing that scares me is he's been in the league for a while, and I think this is year 12 for him.
Yeah, but the thing is with him in fantasy, it's just even if he loses a step and he's not as fast, he's still like PPR. Because he's the 6'5" receiver in the red zone.
He's so good at just snatching air balls, dude. The things I see from him is like they'll throw it up there and he's going to get it in his vicinity.
And that's why he's lasting longer than most receivers because he doesn't play like most receivers.
He's literally another Julio Jones. Not as fast, but he's literally Julio Jones.
Going back to Baker Mayfield, the thing with Baker that I think this is going to be the best thing that I've ever said about Baker Mayfield. If I could have Baker Mayfield's heart and put it into his body, I would have the quarterback that I would consider to be perfect.
He'd also die because he tried to run through way too many people.
Correct, but he wouldn't be turning into a bitch in 2-degree weather with fucking the season on the line.
You know? Yeah, that's true.
He wouldn't be publicly thrashing fucking coaches. You're right.
Correct. Baker Mayfield would be publicly trashing his fucking opponents.
See, now that's a quarterback that would go well with Brian Flores. They need to bring Brian Flores to be the coach of Tampa. That's what they need.
And you know what? You might be right about that. he might have been a better coach for Brian Flores. Like I said, if I could have Baker Mayfield's heart with Tua's arm talents and ability to get the ball where it needs to be, I think I would have the perfect quarterback in Miami. He's a born competitor. And I think that's a tangible that's become so underrated in the league when we're so focused on like how fast a guy runs and how far a guy throws. We've lost a lot of touch with intangibles, and I think competitive drive is a big one that we've lost touch with. Does it always translate to wins? No. But I would rather have a quarterback dogging it out than a quarterback bitching it out. So, with that, me being able to say that about Baker, I still wouldn't put the Bucks out of the division because of that competitive spirit. It doesn't spell consistency, but it keeps them in the game. And it also keeps Mike Evans a top 8 receiver in fantasy. Now, is Baker Mayfield the top quarterback in fantasy? Fuck no. He throws way too many goddamn interceptions. But as far as Mike Evans' production, I don't see that falling off. I think Mike Evans is a security blanket with a guy like Baker Mayfield and his competitive drive and Mike Evans' ability to get downfield. That's still going to be a big thing in the Tampa Bay offense. I just don't
I
know.
think I'm a big fan of drafting in the later rounds Chris Godwin too.
Yeah. And don't sleep on Rashad White. That play action is serious.
It is, but there's some warning signs there. So he had the top usage rate for running backs last year in fantasy as far as how many touches he got. But that's because they had literally nobody else. And that's where my whole thing was like, if you draft Rashard White, you better fucking draft Bucky Irving because there's a chance he's going to steal his job this year.
With that said, the Bucks are like this wild card. You don't know what to expect, and I think the Falcons dictate a lot of their future. So it's really hard to tell because the inconsistencies of Baker Mayfield. But this team could be great, and that's something that we really shouldn't throw out.
And I'll give the division some credit. It's a lot more entertaining than it has been in a few years.
Yeah. This might actually be a better competitive division. Well, it will be because the Falcons and the Bucks are pretty even keel. I don't think the division's going to do significantly well compared to the others, but hey, they're on the right track. All right, so let's go to which, by the way, I guess the Bucks you're looking for. Bucky Irving did make the list of top fantasy leaders for PFF, or for did I get these from PFF? Yeah. So basically everybody that we discussed: Godwin, Baker, Mayfield, Evans. This is the one that I would just if you're looking.
It depends. It depends on your scoring system. Like Monkey for our league, interceptions are only -1 point, so you could kind of get away with it if you're like one of those people that draft quarterback way down the draft board. But if you're in like ESPN and you're doing -3 for picks, don't do it.
Hey guys, I gotta step out. I'm about to have dinner.
All right, man. Enjoy your vacation, brother.
Thank you, guys. It was good talking with you guys. Much love. Monkey, is it next week? Next week's the draft, right?
Yeah, a week from today.
Are you coming down here, Brandon?
No, I will. I'll be down in probably late January for like 2 weeks, though.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So if the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, we get to hear about it. Nice.
Yeah, we all know that's not happening.
We've seen stranger things. Monkey, definitely, we're gonna make that draft party happen. Love to show the belt off to everybody. Let them think they're gonna win it.
I gotta plan it. Next week.
All right, guys. Be easy.
Peace.
All right, bro. That's right. I forgot that things creep up on me.
And then our dynasty is 3 days after that. Wait, do we have that set for a Friday, the dynasty draft? I can't do it if it's a Friday. We need to change that.
I'll change it. I gotta figure that out. All right, so let's get to tight ends.
This is really interesting this year compared to what it usually is.
Dude, the amount of mix matching, Jesus. So, no one can agree on basically fucking anything.
What is the NFL smoking? Trey McBride is the #1 tight end?
That was the one that I couldn't. I was like, what? Brock Bowers ended up in the list for PFF.
Why?
Goddard for NFL. I'm not understanding what PFF is looking at here. Laporta, Kelsey, Kincaid, Kittle, McBride, Andrews, Pitts, Ingram, Ferguson, and Njoku for sleeper, which I think, oddly enough, might be the one that makes the most sense here.
Yeah, I'm actually I agree a lot with sleeper's list.
So This is such a tough one because we know the drop off is crazy for tight ends.
I'll say this though, with about drafting this position this year, I felt pretty comfortable with how I've been drafting it because with how many good tight ends there are that I'm comfortable with rostering, you're really in a spot where you never have to be the one to start a run. Like it's pretty much when you see the run start happening, there's enough good tight ends where you're going to get one. So don't be the guy to pick the first tight end. Just wait for that wherever that run starts.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a 12, 14 man league, like you're still going to get one.
So sleepers to see this year: Christian. I don't know how to say that first name. So
Oh, but everyone calls him Chig Okonkwo.
Chig Okonkwo. Um, he's somebody to look into with Tennessee. He was a big playmaker last year. He just wasn't, consistent. But that was his rookie year, so we're not looking for major consistency on the rookie year. He is in a different offense style this year without Derrick Henry, where they're going to be throwing the ball more. So this is probably a sneaky come up. I think Okonkwo is going to do pretty well. Um, then there's Zach Ertz. I think people are pretty low on Zach Ertz because of his age, which is understandable. Um, but he still ends up in the top 12 of fantasy every year. So until we see a big dip in that, I don't know if we can overreact on his age. So he's at ADP 22 right now. This is one of those, damn, I want the whole draft. Every fucking tight end's off the board. This guy will probably still be there, and you won't have to feel bad about it. Let's go through.
There's a couple other there's so many like average tight ends that I'm cool with rostering, like even beyond what you have with sleepers and those top tens, like Tyler Higbee on the Rams. Wouldn't mind having him on my team. Will Disley over in Seattle has been pretty good. Hunter Henry, like it's such a deep position now out of fucking nowhere. Like I just don't see. I mean, like we'll go through the top 10 just for the sake of that's what we've been doing. But I see zero reason this year to be drafting Laporta or Kelsey, just because of like how deep that position is, and if I'm that high in the draft, like I want to like there's more important depth positions that I'm gonna need before I can draft fucking Travis Kelsey in the second round. It's not happening.
I can add Jonnu Smith here.
Yeah, I'd say he's a guy that like he's on my bench for sure, but like matchup wise, like I wouldn't mind flexing him some weeks. But
Jonnu's going to be in a pass catching system.
That's the problem. His problem's catching the football.
Well, the ball's going to be spread.
Yeah, that too. Like I'll say, like when I watched him a lot when he was with New England, obviously, and he's a super explosive athlete, but his hands aren't great, and he's not very like fluid the way he moves. Everything is super like blocky, if that makes sense. Like he's not very fluid.
What I noticed with him playing in New England, or at least in the games that he played against me, the issue with him wasn't separation was a huge issue with him.
Yeah.
But it was also, I don't think it was so much his hands. His point of catch was terrible, and that's not good for a tight end. Like he can't catch in the fucking contact point. Like if the ball's there and the defender's there, he's losing the battle, and that's weird for a tight
end. And catching on the run too is an issue for him too. But like when you have a creative guy like Mike McDaniel, like they're going to get him involved in screens mostly, I think. And
my God, look at this.
He's that type
Taco
of
Vigo
dude.
would call former head coach Brian Flores a terrible person. NFL Network. Jesus fucking Christ.
Can we just have a normal off season, Dolphins? 1 year. 1 year
Okay.
where no one's doing cocaine and fucking
Being
all
a
this
terrible
shit.
person. All right, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. But like, yeah, he's a really good depth piece for your fantasy team, and I like him in Miami just because they've had fucking nothing at that position since Giuseppe left. Just they've been getting nothing out of it, and he's gonna
Which,
be
by the way,
yeah.
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, and I like that fit he's got in Cincy. Um, I will say for real life football, he's a fucking beast in the run game. Like he steamrolls motherfuckers in the run game. It's really fun to watch.
I think the tight end drop off is huge when it comes to the first five, but after that, you're pretty safe skipping them, and you'll find value.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on your philosophy on the tight end position in general in football. Like, are you a guy that me personally, I'm cool with having a tight end that only averages 15 points a game.
Same.
I'm fine with that.
Same. I don't. It's honestly, where do you want to see that 20-point marker, in the wide receiver position or the tight end position? So, what do you think about Dalton Kincaid?
Man, I think he's going to have huge as far as value in fantasy. I think he's the most valuable fantasy tight end where you can get him because say if you get lucky, right, and you catch the front end of the run, and whatever dumbass picks Travis Kelce or Laporta first, and then Mark Andrews too, because they'll all go ahead of Kincaid in most drafts, is what I'm seeing. Um, Based on where you can get him, he's going to be the best pick at tight end this year, just because you're going to be able to get Kincaid in probably the 5th round, and he's one of their best pass catchers now, and I think he's going to get a shit ton of targets.
So I was saying this earlier, because I got asked about it, which is why I brought it up about Dalton Kincaid. Because of the existence of Dawson Knox, I don't think Knox.
They're totally different players. Like, I understand they're both rostered as tight ends, but
Yeah.
Knox is he has upside as a pass catcher for sure, but he's your traditional Y end of the line blocking tight end who can kind of skirt out and make a couple passes in the short game. Kincaid's a guy you can throw to fucking 40, 50 yards down the field. He just doesn't offer you a lot in the blocking game, which for fantasy purposes, that's what I want out of my tight end. I want a guy that's going down the field.
I don't think, even in this year, I don't think Dawson Knox is going to be huge in the passing department.
No.
Not with James Cook being as good as he is. The other thing that's going with Dalton Kincaid that I like a lot is the receiver room is weak. And when the receiver room is weak on a team, the tight end gets a lot of love. It becomes a security blanket. So Dalton Kincaid's probably getting an uptick in all stats just based off of usage.
But here's the flip side of this, and I'm not necessarily saying this is gonna happen, but there's a chance that this happens. That the rest of their weapons are so anemic and not great that he gets doubled.
That he gets focused, yeah.
I don't think so. I think they're good enough to where he's not going to get doubled, but you never know.
Why did George Kittle fall so far in NFL?
I think it's a thing where it's kind of the same problem you have with what you said with Jonnu in Miami. There's just a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, and he does dedicate a lot of time blocking because he does both really well. He's one of the only guys that is a true tight end left in football. He's an offensive tackle that can catch the shit out of the ball.
Brock Bowers. What? Okay. What the fuck is with Brock Bowers?
Look, Oh yeah, I forgot you're not like a big college guy. Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end prospect out of college in the past 20 years. He is such a he's a huge motherfucker. He's like almost Gronk size, and he can run over motherfuckers. He can block motherfuckers, but he can also, like Gronk, you can throw him the ball 50 yards down the field, or you could throw him a swing pass and then he runs 60 yards down the fucking field. Like his upside is huge, 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 and he's looked really good in camp. He's looked really good in preseason. Um, Problem is he's on a bad team. He's on a bad team with not good quarterback.
Bad offense.
But to that point, though, uh, not great quarterbacks and young quarterbacks like throwing to the tight end because he's going to be a great security blanket. Me personally, I'm not targeting Brock Bowers. I wouldn't hate it if you did, though. Like if I'm able to get a Brock Bowers as my backup tight end, I totally would. But
awesome.
It's just because of the ADP and how that influences drafts. He does get picked before that range because as much as everyone likes to think, I'm a fantasy expert and all this, the clock's running down and you have that top list there and you just kind of pick a guy sometimes, right? So,
yeah. All right, so the people must know, who do we think are the top 10 tight ends? So, this is so hard. I know it's one of these two. I know it's Sam Laporta or Travis Kelce.
It's got to be Kelce. And the reason why I think it's got to be Kelce is think about how many targets he gets compared to the rest of the team. Travis Kelce is really the Chiefs' number one receiver. They have some young guys and they have Rashee Rice, but it's
weak wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why. Like I think at this point, Sam Laporta has more talent than Kelce, but it's just Laporta. He's got to share with a bunch of people right now.
What do we think about Mark Andrews?
I love him as a player, but man, he's got health things the past couple of years. It seems like he's one of those guys that staying on the field is a problem for him. When he's on the field, he's fantastic, but past couple of years, man, he's missed too much time for my liking to where I'm going to draft him.
So then, who will we put in here at 3?
I mean, me personally, I'd probably put Kittle there.
George, yeah, I don't hate George Kittle here. I think here we would have to. Okay, so we have to talk about Dalton Kincaid again versus Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I give the edge to Kincaid just because I've seen him do it before. Kyle Pitts, where it's just been potential, and we all know how physically talented he is, but I have to see it first.
And do we put them over Andrews?
No.
So then Mark Andrews here. Dalton Kincaid here. God damn it. Fuck Buffalo.
See, now this is the appropriate place to put Trey McBride. It's not at the top of your fucking rankings, NFL fantasy. Like, what the? And especially now because, and people would think because Marvin Harrison Jr. is on that team, he might get less targets, which is true, but he's going to have a lot more space to work with now.
Okay. I guess here's where we talk about Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for where we're at in the draft, if I see all these guys are gone, and I want a top tight end, I mean, I'm ready to get hurt again. But if you draft Kyle Pitts, you better get yourself a really fucking good backup. Like you better kind of stretch that a little bit and get you a Hunter Henry, get you a Tyler Higbee, to or an Isaiah Likely to be on your bench or an Njoku or something because like you're taking a lot more risk than even I'm comfortable with.
Okay. This is where it becomes like muddy.
Yeah. See, and then this is like that drop off you were talking about. Like now we hit the drop off, and it's really like a dealer's choice. What's your flavor? At this point, you're just kind of looking at the quarterback situations. Like Jake Ferguson, good quarterback. He's but a lot of mouths to feed down there. Really, really high on Evan Ingram.
That's
He's
what I
been,
was gonna say.
yeah.
Yeah, because Evan's been
He's been balling down
out
there,
the
man.
last-
I'd love to see it too. He's had such a career resurgence down there. Like with the Giants, it just never worked, and then he got down to Jacksonville. He's been balling out. It's been awesome. And I'm higher than most of these people are on Njoku too. Like granted, I have him in my head one spot ahead of where he's at, but like he's really fucking good.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And joke here. Ferguson or Goddard?
I like Ferguson better. Um, Goddard, they don't throw to the tight end as much in Philly, and there's a lot. I mean, they have Saquon, they have fucking AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Like, there's a lot more mouths to feed than in Dallas.
All right. Honestly,
But we're really not that different than we're besides NFL.
these are important, but honestly, you can live without them. You can fucking slide with a Johnny Smith if you got a good receiving core and a good running back core, dude. I'm telling you, you don't need that good of a tight end. It's one position. My big thing with fantasy drafting is wide receiver is two position, potentially three. Running back is two position, potentially three, because of the flex. Tight end is one position. Quarterback is one position. You're only getting one pair of points there, so you can make sacrifices. I think wide receiver is such a important position, especially in depth leagues like 14 team leagues and shit. Like that's an important position to get some points out of because you don't want to get like there's a lot of receivers out here that put up 4, 5, 7 points. At running back, it's even worse. Like running backs are first off, a lot of teams have already gone to RBC, so you got to deal with RBC numbers. There's not a lot of bell cows left in the league, so like these are things you got to prioritize. Tight ends you can get away with. You're still gonna get an average of like 15 points. Quarterbacks, same thing. You're gonna get an average of 15 points. Like, yeah, granted, you might love having Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes and that guaranteed 25 points, but you could get more by having a good receiving core and an all right quarterback. Like, I just feel like depth is important, and when you have multiple positions to cover, you gotta focus them first. And tight end is a big example of this because while the drop off is significant around like that Trey McBride area, before you start gambling with Kyle Pitts, and then the talent drop off is pretty big between Pitts and Ingram. But is the statistic drop off that big? No. Like I would argue, actually, statistically, Evan Engram's been better. So, uh, you can get these guys later in rounds. These guys don't get prioritized. Maybe Kyle Pitts does because people are still sold on him. But even if you don't, like Okonkwo, Ertz, like we just named like 6 or 7 other very, very viable options. Higbee, Disley, Henry, John Smith
Because
will get touches.
especially with like a Hunter Henry, like his first year in New England before Mac Jones imploded, like he had a top 10 finish in fantasy. Like he's really, really fucking good in the end zone. And Jacoby loves throwing to him. So does Drake May. So either quarterback is going to throw to him a lot. And they don't have too much behind him. They have Austin Hooper, which is like he's pretty good, but like he's not like a game breaker by any means. So I just we agree wholeheartedly on this. Like maybe you can get lucky. I mean, when would be the earliest that you're comfortable if you got lucky and one of the top 3 was still available? Like what round are you comfortable taking one of these guys if you have the chance to?
2, 3, 4, like the 5th round tops.
Yeah.
Like the 5th round tops, and I don't draft like when I normally draft tight end. It's probably closer to the 8th and 9th round.
Same. Unless like
I
some crazy run is happening, then you kind of just have to. But
yeah, like I like having both of my starting receivers, both of my starting running backs, uh, and then their backups established before I start working on a tight end. So that's usually around like the 7th, 8th round. But if I want to stretch, I want to at least have my starters on the lineup first before I stretch and like fucking some crazy insane run has happened to where like there's no tight ends left if I don't make one now. But the chances of that happening are so low in fantasy right now. Just drafts don't seem to play out like that in normal leagues. Um, the other guy that I really really want to put emphasis on is Jaceki. I feel like Jaceki got lost because he was in New England. Hunter Henry was in New England too. Um, he is the clear cut number 1 in Cincinnati, and he's a fucking really tall, big dude. Like he's gonna be an end zone killer. He's gonna have Joe Burrow throwing to him.
and think about the favorable looks he's gonna get. Like they're gonna have to worry about fucking T Higgins and Jamar Chase. Like no offensive coordinators. Like we gotta focus on Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, and that's that you gotta. When he was on the Dolphins, that's what made him strong. Was just what you just said. Other things were taking precedence over him in plays, and then there's this big giant fucking tall target in the middle of the field with some fucking like 2 foot shorter linebacker trying his heart out to poorly cover this guy, and all you got to go is think. And in the Dolphins of offense, or the Dolphins offense, um, you saw the best of Jaceki in that offense. He was a top tier fantasy tight end. He wasn't just good; he was great. He's gonna be in a similar offense where he's got arguably a better offense. Not even arguably, it is a better offense. He's got Joe Burrow there, a top tier quarterback. He's got a top tier receiver taking away attention away from him. He's got a very good slot receiver taking away attention from him. Like this is Giuseppe's environment to thrive in. I think he's such a sneaky pick, bro, because no one is looking at Mike Gesicki. If I didn't say it right now and you were watching this, you weren't thinking of Mike Gesicki. I promise you.
Yeah, and this is a guy where like if you want to load up on a bunch of other positions, man, you can wait till super late, and you could just go ahead and draft you Tyler Higbee and Mike Gesicki and play them based off matchups, and the whole rest of your roster is going to be fucking stacked. And the odds are you'd only have to draft one of them. You probably get lucky, and you draft Gesicki in one of the last rounds, and then you can grab one of these other guys off waivers.
So before we close out, I'm so glad that we're almost done with the fantasy positions. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna get through.
I mean, we just have what defenses left, right?
Yep.
We're not doing kickers.
No,
not
fuck
doing it.
kickers. You stream those. That's your advice for kickers. Let's see the preseason schedule, or let's see the when's the start of the NFL season? Week 1.
15 or 16 days from now.
So we have got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 shows left before that.
Well, we could do defenses next week. I think one thing that would be fun is we do like way too early end of season award predictions. Offensive rookie, MVP.
Yeah.
Kind of, and then we can just check ourselves at the end of the year and see how we did or something.
If we want to continue down the divisional path, we're gonna have to fit more than one division in a stream to finish out, because we only have 3 streams left before season. So I'll plan that. The defenses ain't hard either, so that's fine. What do you call it? When is our...
Well, the draft is next week, so that's a whole show. We're not.
Yeah. So hey, stream if we don't get.
And then we'll probably I don't know about what your weekend looks like, but maybe we could draft our dynasty team on Sunday. We'll probably stream that too. We'll be home anyways doing it.
This Sunday. Probably,
yeah.
I might be able to do that. As long we need to get 2 more people to join this motherfucking league. So wait, the UFA League of Champions, that is in 6 days. That is in 1 week from now. Woo! Okay.
Then when does MXT draft?
And then MXT drafts in 11 days. They draft the week after.
Okay.
And I've got 1 more team slot to fill. So, okay, the UFA Champion League, that's a whole event and a party on a Tuesday. It's a barbecue on a Tuesday. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, have fun.
What is this other one? Monkeys fantasy football. These are 1 team too. Jesus.
I just remember the last time I was able to show up to one of your draft parties for our league, and I'm not going to call out names, but someone got so hammered and did ridiculous shit in the draft, and it was one of the funniest draft moments of my life. And I think PJ was trying to bait people into getting drunk too that night. That was pretty funny.
So, do you want to give everybody their draft order so they got a week to prepare for it?
Yes.
All right,
And if we both get shitty draft positions, you just randomize it real quick again. No, I'm just playing.
No.
I'm going to laugh if we randomize this and PJ ends up with the first overall pick anyways, even after all that shit. And you know what I saw? Because, we had that whole argument about what we should do if you win the league, which I guess getting a $300 championship belt isn't good enough for people. But I heard another league, because we talked about winner gets first overall pick. I have another idea. I think that's better, that you just get to pick your draft pick. Because if I win, I don't want the first overall pick.
So, hold up. Let me see if I can bring this up here.
My internet keeps going out. It's fucking annoying.
Share screen. What am I doing? Where's sleep at? Share. Go. Do it. Can you read it? Alright. So that's
Aha, number 11. I don't mind it. It's not too bad. Oh, and PJ's right next to me. I'll be able to piss him off a couple times. That'll be fun. Oh, Bill got the first pick.
Williams got the first pick in the draft. I don't mind being third. I'm not going
Nope.
to lie.
I'm fine with being within the first 4 or like the last 4 picks. Like as long as I'm towards the end of the snake.
Well, I'm bitching about one.
Turk's in no man's land. So is Talon.
Wompy wompy womp. Okay, so next week is the draft. I guess that's what we're doing next week.
Yeah, I guess now I'm gonna do 20 mock drafts from pick 11 this week on Sleeper.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I did a couple. Dude, man, if you're not on Sleeper,
get on Sleeper. Your internet died. For sure, internet died. Brendan's dead.
I gotta go reset my shit. It's so annoying.
All right, you're back. You're good.
It just like gets spot. So weird.
Yeah. But yeah, get on Sleeper. That's if you're not fantasy drafting on Sleeper, you're fucking not with the times. ESPN sucks now.
Dude, like I can get done with fucking 3 or 4 mock drafts in like 20 minutes. I'm about to do some right now.
Oh my god, I wonder who more is bitching. Look, Burke's messaging me on Facebook.
Oh my god. It's random.
No, one left. One more slot left.
What does he want, a double dip?
No, it's probably for one of the kids.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I gotta look at the roster. I don't think I know many people in the NXT.
Okay, so next week is one of the most entertaining times in UFA where we will have a barbecue and a bunch of my friends that are in this league will come over, and then we will what is the word? We will provide alcohol to these people before they draft.
Yo, we have the funniest group because it's like 3/4 of this league is like serious fantasy players. 1/4 of this league, they really shouldn't be here, but they're too fun as people in general, so they have to be here, and their drafting decisions are the best. It's such an entertaining draft every year.
It's one of the most chaotic. It is the most chaotic.
It's so like, and as much as I want to do all these mock drafts, my fucking strategy goes out the window every fucking year in this league because like some of the dumbest shit in the world is gonna happen, and I'm gonna have Jamar Chase available in the second round. I mean, not like that extreme, but some dumb shit's gonna happen.
Where's my invite thingy? Oh my god. I don't think it's that. Disable league invite links now. Override league invite capacity. Yeah. Okay, so where the fuck is my invite button? It's alright. I'll find it in here. Motherfucking. I might be able to fill the MXT right now with a kid who might be going for the belt. This is the great part about our fantasy football system. That now I have 2 haywire leagues for completely different reasons.
Yep.
This is the most unhinged shit ever. Alright, let me get this link out and then we can end the damn stream. Alright, here it is. Get it going. Alright. So, next week, fantasy football draft. You can see our crazy people while I trick them to being drunk and then making poor decisions.
I guess I'll be the one leading the stream because Monkey will be entertaining people. He'll be here, but not really.
Yeah, no, I'll be draft. I have to be on the computer to draft, so I'll be on the stream. Don't worry.
True.
But there will be a lot of craziness going on in the back. I'll probably have the camera pointed to.
A lot of noobs that just want to get drunk and only look at the draft from their phone. Fuck that. I got 2 monitors up, bitch. I mean business.
So you know how we did the stream a couple of days ago on how to draft like semi-functional? This is going to be a stream that teaches you how to not draft.
Or it's going to show you how to draft well with chaos going on around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
just
true too.
Because me and Monkey are playoff teams every year in this league, regardless of how much dumb shit happens. So
you navigate through madness, and it's important to understand the madness. So yeah, we'll help with that. So next week it's draft time. That's UFA drafting. That's it for this week. So I guess we're good. Have a good one, everybody. We're gonna stay safe. Do the like, subscribe, and all that other shit that the YouTube people say at the end of their videos. Do all
if not, you're a terrible person like Brian Flores.
Yeah, if not, you're a terrible person. You don't give gold stars to your quarterback, and you're an
Yep.
asshole, and you know,
Yep.
fuck you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.